There's one stock that is about to jump up in price. It is a soon-to-be acquired, as long as this vote goes through at the end of the month, stock by CoreWeave, which serves Microsoft, Meta. CoreWeave recently had a $14 billion deal with Meta. And also OpenAI. CoreWeave serves ChatGPT and its master Sam Altman. So let's jump into this ticker. This is CORZ, CORZ Scientific. They build the towers that hold the servers, the GPUs, the NVIDIA GPUs. So they basically build the infrastructure that holds the CoreWeave infrastructure, which serves, using components from NVIDIA and other similar companies, Meta, and all these software AI companies. So let's jump into the chart and why this company, CORZ, is a good idea to look at right now.
This is Sam Putnam.
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 Alright guys, so I get a little mixed up sometimes, like all of us, but here's the chart, and I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, this company, CORZ, is a former Bitcoin miner turned hyperscaler, like so many before it. Mara is one, Riot is one, and CoreWeave is the company that's, this pop was on the $14 billion deal with Microsoft. This is like the last company that hasn't had a crazy run in the past few months. And it's just sort of like, I don't know if it's getting sold into or just what's going on, but it hasn't popped yet. So this is the company that is to be acquired by CoreWeave. This was sort of, there was rumors that it was going to happen, and then there was like a non-binding agreement, and then on that news of the agreement or the proposed vote, it was sold. So sold out the news. And then coming up at the end of this month is the October 30th is the end of this month, and that is the date of the vote. So that is basically the time to see whether or not this acquisition will actually come through. If it doesn't go through, I expect this to sell off, although of course could be wrong. But let's jump into a little bit about that deal and then about what CORZ Scientific does. So as far as price levels, you want to be careful about earnings coming up in about 3 weeks. So that's what I would look at. Other than that, there's sort of a clear level that it's over right now, starting in June and then December of last year. It is over that. It's sort of basing above that level right now. So maybe you can risk it's kind of at a good level right now. You don't really want to risk all the way down to 18, 17, 90. But we'll see what happens on Monday or when you see this video. It just showing incredible relative strength to the market, which, there's a lot of buying in here even as the market went down. So, yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. They're basically help install the equipment. And obviously, being a Bitcoin miner, they're very well versed in hyperscaler, building out cloud computing capacity and providing the infrastructure to, run all these massive machine learning algorithms for the big boys, the Mag 7. So let's jump into this deal. CoreWeave announced intention to acquire CORZ Scientific, $9 billion deal at $20 a share in July. Okay, so that's back here. $20 a share is up here, and then that news was sold off of. Okay. So the important, intention is the operative word, and then there was an opposition, and this holder expressed disapproval. So now there's going to be a vote, including this holder who owes 6%, and the board has to basically vote on it. The board has determined that it's the best deal, but there still has to be a vote. So I'm not exactly sure how many votes each shareholder gets. I assume it's, maybe it's based on the amount that they hold. I don't know. Maybe I should look into it, but it's probably not, as relevant as just looking at the chart and saying this thing definitely has relative strength. People are buying this into the 30th. So do you want to hold it through the 30th? That is a good thing to be aware of. You probably don't. So the 30th would be next Thursday as the time of recording this video. So that you want to be aware of. You know, if you can get in on this run up, just like there was a run up into the Sell the News event, which was the intent to acquire, then maybe you can get a few bucks out of this, risking, 25 cents or something, which is actually a big deal. That's like a very high risk reward opportunity, and there's a ton of volume for most anyone who wants to get positioned in this. And if you look in the intradaily, you can see, it's a little whipsawy, but there also does appear to be some normal technical analysis holding, meaning came down to this level, held, and is holding up. So that is the ticker, that's the chart, and then a little more about that deal. Why is this such a big deal? Well, CoreWeave is backed by NVIDIA. Literally, NVIDIA is an investor of CoreWeave. It's a recent IPO. They did get that contract with Meta, and they also got a $6 billion order from NVIDIA, who invested in them. So that's a little circular, but NVIDIA is actually recording revenue, so this isn't, a total Ponzi scheme. Now, here's what would help. Basically, CoreWeave could fulfill its contract because CORZ Scientific already knows how to mine a bunch of Bitcoin, so they develop data centers, and CoreWeave works on the construction site management. Basically, CoreWeave is like a giant holding company that raised a bunch of money to go make OpenAI's dreams come true. At least that's as close as I can understand what the heck is going on with this company. They have a bunch of debt too, but they did get that big agreement with Meta, so that's making that debt not seem like as much an issue. And then NVIDIA, $100 million investment a couple years ago, was a nice little Kickstarter. Of course, they're, kissing the ring or whatever with the order. And then, they do. I mean, NVIDIA is really the only one that they can buy these GPUs from anyway. So NVIDIA is the one and only. Now, they did enter into this agreement with OpenAI as well, $12 billion. I don't think that's like an up to agreement. I think that's actually the number. Of course, OpenAI could go defunct, but probably not in the next 5 years, right? And then Microsoft is also served by CoreWeave. So all the big companies pretty much have some connection to NVIDIA, of course, and then as a result, some of them have a connection to CoreWeave, which actually fulfills that capacity for them. They don't just buy NVIDIA GPUs and then just set them up in their office, right? They use the data center provider. If you're talking about CORZ Scientific, you're basically talking about CoreWeave at this point, although the acquisition still has to go through. So we talked about that vote. We talked about sort of the difference between CoreWeave and CORZ Scientific. And CORZ Scientific is legitimate. I don't know that any of these are particular data center investors, but we know they're a big deal, and they are. I don't know if they could be profitable just mining Bitcoin. Most of these companies are getting higher margin, being AI data center companies that are Bitcoin mining companies at this point. But apparently, this acquisition, as the board stated, is good for all current shareholders. So that's pretty much the description of what's going on here. This is going to be what's interesting. We never really know what's going to happen in negotiations. If that vote does not go through and that offer actually is final, it'll be tough to say what's going to happen to the share price. So that's why I don't think holding through October 30th is a good idea. I mean, you're going to want to look at, you can look at this or you can not. It can get complicated quickly, but in general, it's all going to work out. Like, you're not going to lose money if they get acquired. That's not financial advice, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be a good thing, accretive for shareholders. I could be wrong. Like, this value could be wrong. This is an implied value. Maybe it's less than $20 a share. You can see the price right now is pretty close. So people seem to think that that's going to be the acquisition price. And maybe it'll be a premium over the price. It's definitely a premium before the talks began, but maybe it'll be a premium even to that $20 to what the price is at the time of the successful vote. But we're going to see what happens. Okay, is what it is. So yeah, that's a lot of power infrastructure. And as far as the price of the acquisition, I mean, that's the stock price, but I don't actually know. I guess it was $9 billion. Just to give sort of scale, like CoreWeave gets $14 billion from Meta in that deal. They initially got $100 million from Nvidia. They're far beyond that now, and then they're using that $14 billion, some of it to pay off debt probably, and some of it to buy CORZ to be able to fulfill on this contract for OpenAI, where they're getting $12 billion over the next 5 years. It kind of all makes sense, although you definitely have to do a little mental gymnastics to make sure somebody has the money, and it seems like, well, Nvidia is good for it, so this is all going to turn out just dandy. As far as retail traders, all we really have to say is, hey, do you want to buy it here and make a handful of bucks and risk $1, and maybe the acquisition's higher than $20, and not hold before the vote goes through. That's kind of the bet that you can make right now. So low risk, potentially high reward, depending on how that vote goes through and how the acquisition price goes through. It's probably, given that it's so strong right now, it's probably not going to sell off significantly prior to the vote. That's all I say. That's why I caught my eye. If you like this idea and ideas like it, hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe. And if you are looking to get one-on-one help for a limited time, you can get that in stockscommunity.com. We are going to start making that a more of a scale-up operation. But right now, the benefit to you is you can join a Q&A call and you can just ask me questions. I mean, you can do that on these lives too, but sometimes I'm distracted. Sometimes I'm making, doing a little breakdown like this. So I'll see you in the next one. Maybe I'll see you in the community. Use that code Q4 for 20% off the $25 7-day trial, and I'll see you there.
This is Sam Putnam.
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 This is Sam Putnam.